Hey guys, I know that I have promised you a video 2 weeks ago about my favorite places to eat in the parks, and life kind of just took over. I had some student ministry stuff to do, and then I had a lot of things to take care of around the house because it's tax season, and I wanted to get stuff done so that my husband and I could enjoy Sunday, his day off, together. But I do have some places. I will say the one park I'm not going to mention today is Epcot. It's not because there's nothing good to eat at Epcot. It's just because that is the place that I have eaten at the least. And so I don't think it's fair for me to try and put restaurants in an order when I had probably only eaten at one or two of them. So we will do the other parks, and we'll start with my favorite park, which is Magic Kingdom. And with all the parks, we'll start with my fifth all the way to my first. Okay? So, at Magic Kingdom, coming in at number 5 for me is Casey's Corner. If you don't know where Casey's Corner is, it's when you walk in Main Street, almost to the end before you hit the hub, which is the area where the castle is. There is a store, a restaurant on your left-hand side, and it's by the main Emporium store. It actually can lead into that, and it is called Casey's Corner. And they have lots of hot dogs and just kind of fun foods like that. But they are most known for their hot dogs. When you go in there, you'll see some old-time like baseball memorabilia, which just kind of makes you feel like you're at the ballpark, which then makes you want a hot dog. They have lots of different kinds, and they often have a hot dog of the month. So it's a lot of fun. I don't love hot dogs, but I do like theirs, so I would recommend that. Number 4 for me is Pinocchio's Village House. This is in Fantasyland. It is by It's a Small World and Peter Pan. It's right there. It's right by It's a Small World, and I'll explain that in a moment. But I like this place because it has flatbread pizzas, and when you are in there in the middle of the hot summer and you're sweating to death, the last thing you want to do is eat a big meal. So I like to go there and get the flatbread pizzas because it gives me enough to fill me up, but it also isn't so heavy that I'm dragging for the rest of the day. If you're lucky enough to get in there and be able to get inside and sit down in the air condition, there's a window closest to the end of where It's a Small World is, and you can watch the queue of people walking through It's a Small World in the boats starting from there. So that's kind of a fun little thing to do so you're not just staring at a wall while you're eating. Number 3 for me is Pecos Bill. I love Pecos Bills. Their nachos are my favorite. They have a whole nacho bar where you can put all the toppings you can ever imagine on it. It's really good. It's located in Frontierland. I highly recommend it. And when you get done with it, you can walk across and there's a little hut, and there's a pirate map treasure hunt you can go on, which is really awesome, but I'll talk about that in another episode. But it is really cool, so make sure that if you are going there before I talk about it, you check it out because it's cool. Number 2 for me is Friar Nook's. I believe that's what it's called. I always get it confused, but it's right in Fantasyland across from Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. I like this place. It's a counter service. You walk up, and my favorite thing there is they have barbecue chicken macaroni and cheese. It's so good. Like, maybe it's pork. I don't remember, but it's barbecue something macaroni and cheese, and it is delicious. I don't like coleslaw, so I get it without the coleslaw, but oh my gosh, like, it is one of my favorite things to eat there. So I do love that place. There are other options there, but that is by far my favorite option. And then my number 1 restaurant at Magic Kingdom is Be Our Guest. Now, this may change because I'm trying a couple new restaurants when we go on our trip in May, but as of right now, Be Our Guest is my favorite. I did see just recently that they have changed their dinner menu, so I'm not going to talk too much about dinner because I haven't tried the new menu yet, and the price has gone up on it since they did that. So it's more of a French cuisine now at night, and I'm not real sure about eating octopus, so but there are other options too. I haven't tried it yet, so I don't want to talk about that, but their lunch is really good. Ben and I went there on our honeymoon, which I'd been before. I always get the croque monsieur, which is like a hot ham and cheese, but it's like delicious. And then Ben got a French dip sandwich, which was amazing too. We ended up splitting it. I had half of his and he had half of mine. There's lots of kid-friendly options there as well. The one thing I will say about Be Our Guest, I do not suggest their breakfast. Here's why. Hear me out. Their breakfast is great if you can get in early enough that you can get into the park before it opens. Otherwise, the breakfast is just so-so. It's normal stuff. The pastries are delicious, and there's a lot of them, but it's not really the best bang for your buck, if that's what I'll say. So those are my top 5 at Magic Kingdom. Now we're going to move on to Hollywood Studios. In the 5 to number 1, at number 5 for me is the Charlie Carr Cafe. I've eaten there one time and I've only had a snack and honestly don't even remember what it was, but I remember it was good or it wouldn't even have made it. But there also just aren't a ton of options at Hollywood Studios for food. I would think actually that it probably has the least amount of options food-wise, but I could be wrong on that. Number 4 is the Brown Derby Cafe. I will say this, I have never eaten there. However, I've done a lot of research and heard some amazing things about it. Plus, there is a special meal you can do there where you can dine with an Imagineer. And so I really don't care what the food tastes like if I'm getting to talk with somebody who is creating all these things that Disney has. So that's why it made number 4 for me. Number 3 is the ABC Commissary. Okay, so for a quick service, this is pretty awesome because you can get a lot of different foods that you can't get anywhere else. It's really good food, and there's a lot of places to sit. The problem with a lot of quick services is there are not a lot of places to sit inside, and when it is hot outside or cold, you're going to want someplace warm or cold to go to in those times, and ABC Commissary is a great place. Plus, you can bring your lunch in there and eat, and I have done that several times, and they have never said anything to me about it, so there's that. Number 2 is Mama Melrose. Oh my gosh. It's located back by where, well, actually, I'm not 100% sure how to get there in my head, but it's really good. It's Italian. It's delicious. It's a really quaint, fun little decorated restaurant, so I highly recommend it. I had the chicken parmesan when I was there, but I'm a big chicken parmesan fan, and it was delicious. And my number 1 at Hollywood Studios, oh my gosh, I love this place so much, is Primetime Cafe. Okay, this place is so cool. First of all, it's like you're walking back into the 50s. The whole place is decorated like someone's house. So you walk in and the place is to sit while you're waiting to be called in. It looks like a living room, and when you go down to sit, it looks like you're in someone's dining room and everybody's calling you cousin, and it's a lot of fun. They pick on you a little bit, which is also fun and entertaining, but the food is delicious. It is like home-cooked meals. So I get the fried chicken all the time. It is amazing. And the apple crisp dessert, perfect. So I highly, highly, highly recommend Primetime because it is just a great environment to be in. All right, so we are going to move on to Animal Kingdom because, like I said, we're not going to do Epcot. I just don't feel like I have enough information to give you the best top 5 for that. So, Animal Kingdom, woohoo! All right, my top 5 is going to be totally different than most people's, and I'll kind of explain why, because what I put at the very bottom, most people would have put at the very top. So, I know that this is going to make some people upset who have been there, and I'm so sorry, but I'll explain why I feel that way. So, number 5 for me is the Satu'li Canteen, and this is in Pandora. It's a new restaurant. It did make my top 5, so it is obviously somewhat good. For me, I am kind of a picky eater, not as much as I used to be, so Satu'li is a little bit too much for me. It's a cool little place. My husband loves it, but you pick your bottom base for your bowl, so it's like rice, quinoa salad, sweet potato hash, and there might be one more. I think it might be tofu or something like that. I'm not really sure, but you pick that, and then you pick your meat, which is beef, chicken, fish, or tofu. That's where the tofu comes in. Sorry, not the base. And then you pick a sauce, and there's a bunch of different sauces. And I've tried a couple of variations of it, and I just haven't found one that I really like. Ben will eat them all. He loves them all. And most people do. Most people find that restaurant really awesome. They love the dessert, the blueberry dessert they go on and on about. I also did not care much for that, although at Christmas time, they had one that was like a cinnamon type, and that was delicious. They do have some kid-friendly things. They have a pretzel hot dog, which is probably what I'll get from now on when I go with Ben. And they have some cheeseburger pods and some other things. So it's really cool. You can watch them cook the food. The restaurant's really nice, and it's right in the heart of Pandora, which is one of the coolest things I've seen Disney do in a long time. So, number 4 is the Harambee Market. I love the Harambee Market. And it has a bunch of different choices, and you can choose from like 4 different little quick services, and they all offer a bunch of different things, and they're all ethnic foods, and they are delicious. And it always smells so good over there. And even though all the seating is outside, it's in the shade because there's a lot of shade back that way. So it's a really nice place. I love it. Again, it's quick service and it is outside. There is no indoor seating, but it's really cool. You should check it out. Number 3 for me is Tiffin's. And this is also probably because I'm a really picky eater. for me, Tiffin's is beautiful. Like, the inside of it is beautiful. It is probably one of the fanciest restaurants I've ever been to. The food was good. I'm not saying that it wasn't good. I am saying that I am picky, so for me, it was really hard. But it was a lot. It was just beautiful, and it was a quiet environment, and if you wanted someplace romantic or someplace quiet that you could kind of get away because there weren't as many kids in there, that would be a really awesome place to go. Number 2 is Yak and Yeti. I love Yak and Yeti. The food there is ethnic, of course, and it's in Asia, and it's not far from Everest. It's delicious. And I always ask for a seat up above in the top, on the upper floor and by the window, because the fun thing is when you do that, you can watch the Baloo and Louie meet and greet, and you can see them bring them in and out. So that's kind of fun just to see that. The food is really good, in case I haven't said that already. My friend Lauren's favorite part is the naan. If you don't know what that is, that's a type of bread, and it is divine. So number 1 for me at Animal Kingdom is Tusker House. I've only eaten there one time, but it's a buffet, and it's a character meal too, most of the time. I think maybe all the time, but I'm not 100% on that. When I went, it was a character meal. And it's all like the Mickey and Minnie and Donald and Goofy in their safari gear. The food is delicious. There are so many things to choose from that even if you're a picky eater, there are lots of options. So you definitely get your money's worth. And of course, because it's a buffet, you can go back up as many times as you want. So I highly, highly suggest Tusker House, even though it's a character meal and it'll cost you a little more, you won't have anybody who leaves hungry. So that is all for my Animal Kingdom. And then I'm just going to tell you guys, my all-time favorite restaurant in any of the parks, any of the hotels, and for me, nothing has topped it yet, and that is Ohana. If you have never been to Ohana, it is in the Polynesian resort. You can get to it from the monorail. It is amazing. So it is one price, and it is a little bit pricey, but it's all you can eat. It's steak, chicken, shrimp. Oh wait, that's just the main course. The first thing they bring you out is this bread, and then they bring you out a salad, and then after the salad they bring you out like these noodles and these wings and pot stickers and all these little like appetizer things. And then they bring out the skewers with the chicken and the steak and the shrimp, and guys, you can have as much of it as you want. My husband, I'm pretty sure he had like 40 shrimp, guys. It was pretty crazy. And then, as if all of that wasn't delicious enough, they bring you the bread pudding. Now, I am not a bread pudding fan, but at Ohana, it's different. It doesn't taste like normal bread pudding. It's just, I can't even explain the deliciousness that is it. So, if you are there and you are thinking, I need to find a really cool place to eat at, Ohana is it. You can go, we like to go late at night, right before the fireworks at the Magic Kingdom start, because then we can sit in our table. There are windows all throughout Ohana, and we can see the castle, so we can watch the fireworks, and they pipe in the music. It's awesome. If you get there and you have a later reservation and you're not going to be sitting, you can walk down to the beach and watch them. We did that on our honeymoon. Or you can go to an earlier dinner and stay and hang out at the Polynesian and walk down to the beach and watch them when they start. Awesome, great atmosphere, beautiful. You'll love it, and it's probably the best food I've had at Disney. So, there's my video. I'm sorry it took so long. I love you guys a lot. Thanks for watching. See you later.